All right. Hello, hello. Happy New Year and welcome to the second issue of the CUR President's Quarterly, where we get to interview our 2021-2022 CUR President and hear straight from the Executive Board what is happening in CUR, behind the scenes, and for our community. As always, we are so happy to have Jeanne with us. Can you believe it's 2022? It is crazy. I don't know where the year went, and I don't know if I really like 2022 yet. But how did the year end for you? How did 2021 end for you?
Well, Elizabeth, it is so great to be here with you again. I will say that 2021 ended, really fast. I felt like that entire year was a blur for as long as 2020 was. Like 2021, condensed it, right? So it just came like a freight train. And then now we have 2022. So I'm kind of with you on jury's still out.
Still out.
We'll see. Lots happened, just a little bit into this year. A little bit more dynamic than I was expecting.
So can we ask what's happening on your campus? What's happening at Radford?
Sure. So Radford, we are open and welcoming our students to campus. Like everybody else, we are putting in more precautions or kind of rolling back our precautions, right, to ensure that everyone is safe and healthy. And Omicron is a bit of a different thing. So we are happy to have our students back and navigating as best we can.
Yeah, what else can we do, right? We just have to, what was it before that you had said to me? We just have to persist. I'm more of the keeping my head floating above water, but I think it's both. It's crazy. And with the start of a new year, first comes a review of the previous. I loved this quote from Maya Angelou. It said, you can't really know where you are going until you know where you have been. So let's take a look down memory lane. We recently published our year in review for 2021. CUR did amazing things. And to be honest, the year went by so fast, I didn't remember doing all of those things. I don't even know how we had the energy. But what are things that stood out to you?
Yeah, I'm so with you. And I'm once again this year so proud of who we are and what we have accomplished as an organization amid, like you said, all of these challenges and this blur that was 2021. Our volunteers and all of you at the national office have persisted in living the values of CUR, advancing our strategic plan, and providing high quality programming. And I think really importantly, supporting one another. And that for me has been a real touchstone in helping us move forward. So I want to recognize just kind of that piece, right? Before I think about all the stuff that happened, to the degree that we've been here for one another and we are continuing to support one another with our time and energy investments that are more of what we typically have to do to get the same amount of work done, in pre-pandemic times. So some of the specific things that I'm really excited about and thinking back is our first virtual NCUR conference, which was really powerful and brought the opportunity to students who otherwise never would have had the opportunity to participate. So I think that is one of the silver linings, right, that we can maybe pull from our pandemic time. I'm also really proud of our Centering DEI conference. It was a resounding success, nearly 700 registrants, and a great collaboration between our URP division and the Committee on Diversity and Inclusion. Really excited about that event and the learning and the actions that have come out of that. As we spoke last time, we rolled out our new undergraduate research definition, bringing a more inclusive and updated approach to undergraduate research, scholarship, and creative inquiry. And finally, as you know, Elizabeth, volunteers are at the heart of CUR.
Yes.
Yes, they are. We have evolved and grown as an organization, and our governance structure has become more complex and led to some challenges. In an effort to better support our strategic plan, our mission, and our community, a team has been working to guide us to a more inclusive structure that allows for broader participation and maximizes engagement. And I'm really grateful that that team is being led by immediate past president, Sylvia Ronco. So those are some of the things that I think about and have been really excited about and proud of.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you said, I feel like you're just like, yeah, those are just some of the things, but those are big things. I particularly like the community pages. Looking at that map and data of where our members are just makes them seem more real. For me, we've been virtual. Well, not just for me, the world has been virtual for just shy of 2 years now. And to look at where our members are located, it gets us just to look outside of our box a little bit. And in this case, the state or even the country. And it kind of just gives it a whole new story. So I turned my background screen to that page because I was like, oh, that's really cool. But okay, so much is happening in the next few months. If you want to take a look at that URL or that year in review, please go to the URL cur.org/YIR, which stands for year in review. You know, I always have to put those marketing glitches or the marketing pieces in here because, that's just me.
Yeah.
But so much is happening in the next few months and lots of communications are going out. So can you share how someone can get that information they need in case they missed the year in review or in case they missed these things that you're talking about?
Well, I would start with, as a good housekeeping item, something that we often tend to do this time of year. Members should review and update their profiles as needed, make sure their institution and academic rank are correct, declare a division, and at the bottom of CUR emails, clicking on that email preferences so they can make sure they get the information they need and it doesn't get lost with things that don't pertain. And if they have any questions about this, they can contact Natalie.
All right, so with that, the board met back in November, which seems to me like so long ago, but it was only a few short weeks ago. And I know there was a lot of important things that were discussed during this meeting. Would you like to go in depth on any and keep our community up to date?
Sure, yeah. I'll talk about three, what I think are really the most important things to share. First, as we've been talking, we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and it is creating a lot of challenges in a lot of different spaces. So I think it's important for the community to know that we are working hard to reduce the negative impact of the current financial situation by controlling expenses, managing contracts, investing with a good partner, and looking towards long-term sustainability. So as a board, that is a real high priority, and it has been heightened, of course, during this time of the pandemic. So I think that's important for the community to know. As a dovetail to that, to share that we're also engaging in foresight work. The entire board has been engaged in this work. We've had some training, and we have a work group led by President-elect Ruth Palmer, who is leading some of the more intensive pieces of this work, really focused on helping us to stay relevant as an organization and really lead the way for CUR. And then tied to both of those is the work that we're engaging in to develop partnerships to help us fulfill our mission and, of course, lead the way once again in undergraduate research.
Those are all really big things to be talking about. And I know that our board meets again soon. So I know those conversations will continue on. And that's why we have these President's Quarterlies so that we can keep the community up to date, right? So let's just take one step back, because although that was very important, there is something that's going on right now that is equally important, as I would say, is the elections. And you had mentioned that updating your profile status got you communications, but it also gets you the opportunity to vote in these elections as well. So can you go into how you can share, or if you can share with me how this election is run and why it's important that all of our members do cast their votes and are able to cast their vote?
So sure, thanks, Elizabeth. I think just like with any election, voting is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to voice your opinion, and I think that's always critical. And it helps shape the future of CUR, right? So I think it's valuable for all of our members to visit the website, learn about who the slate of candidates are, and cast their ballots, right? We have two really strong slates. I'm excited to share our slate for president is Mark Marshall and Bethany Usher, and folks can learn more about them on the website. Our slate for council representatives is robust, and we'll be selecting 3 folks from this list of 6 that I'll share here in a sec. Kimberly Harris, who's from the Education Division, Beth Cunningham from Physics and Astronomy, Maria Aikilo Bird from Arts and Humanities, Jeff Ryan from Geosciences, Charlotte Simmons from Math and Computer Science, and Graham Harper from At Large.
I actually am so proud of myself because I know all of those names. I can actually put a face to those names now, only a face. If I have not met them in person, since we've been so virtual, but one day it will come. Yeah. So the importance of voting, though, for this election, it's another crazy year. We don't know what we're going to get into with the 2022 to 2023 membership year that starts July 1st, which is technically only 6 months away. And that to me is just very close. So, when you first joined CUR, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. When you first started joining CUR and got more involved, why did you go out and vote?
Great question. Well, when I first got involved in CUR, I was relying on information on the website to learn about who other folks were, right? Building that network and community that has helped sustain and support me for all of these years. And it was important for me to vote at that time because I was thinking about who are the folks that I think can help me learn and guide the organization. And they're both strong slates. We are going to win as an organization, I think, no matter how the elections turn out. At the same time, like I said, voting is your voice. And so to me, that's just kind of like a foundational opportunity that we should educate ourselves and exercise anytime we have that kind of opportunity.
Yeah, you can even go back to just, what you were talking about with the updates from the board. If I were to go and vote, which I'm national office, so I'm not able to, but if I were to go and vote, who would I want to be included in these conversations that are happening from what my president is talking about? And another thing, just to reiterate, is you can go to cur.org/election, and all of these people on this great, incredible slate will have had the chance to answer specific questions, all the same questions, and their answers will be listed there so you guys can get more information about who they are if you do not know them or if you don't recognize their names, and that you can learn more about them before you place your vote. So that is just, one thing, the elections, the board updates. It's 2022. We have so much going on. I said it was only 6 months until the next membership year, which is crazy. But there is just, it's never ending. The spring is is a very, very popular time for events for us. I'm really excited for Undergraduate Research Week that's happening in April, starting April 18th. I'm excited for everything else. So Jeanne, please give us a rundown of what is coming.
Well, Elizabeth, like you said, there's a lot, right? So spring, I always love spring for lots of reasons, right? Flowers bloom and the sun shines more. And it's a time of celebration of undergraduate research in so many ways, right? So we have NCUR coming up and posters on the hill. So NCUR registration is open now. And I'm really excited that we have a swag store. Who does not love that? Anything that folks want to find out about NCUR, they can go to cur.org/NCUR 2022. We have posters on the hill, like I said, coming up. I've been reviewing abstracts for both of these and have just been so impressed by our students and the topics that they're engaging with. So I'm really excited to see where we end up with in terms of who will be joining us for that event. And in virtual world, right, for both NCUR and Posters on the Hill. For faculty, we've got dialogues coming up, supporting them in terms of grant funding. Excited again this year, virtual, and I think again another silver lining is that the CUR dialogues in a virtual format was really successful, and we're really building on that. So I'm excited. Folks can register until February 14th, so maybe a little bit opportunity for people who haven't quite jumped on that yet. We also have the SPUR winter issue that was released, includes a letter from our new editor-in-chief, Paula Maybrook, who we welcomed earlier this year, really excited about that. We also have updated author submission guidelines and reviewer guidelines, the 2021 Best Article honorees, and a call for upcoming papers, all in there, in addition to the wonderful articles that will help us learn and grow. And then this summer, right before the beginning of the new membership year, is ConnectUR, our conference. Call for proposals just closed on this. I can't wait to see where the committee lands, right? And what is brought to us. And I'm also excited, and again, kind of going back to the world that we're in, right? Really mindful that CUR has offered options for both on-site and online. As the world is continuing to evolve, it is just so complicated. I feel like every time we get around a turn and think we may be at stability, we get another curveball, which is just testing us.
I love your positivity.
What's that?
I said I love your positivity. Just testing us.
It is. It's just a new puzzle to solve, right? Like I really just have to stay in that space. I'm a learner. There's always something to learn in whatever comes to us. And there's always, I think, good in whatever comes to us. We may not see it immediately, but if we look for it, we'll get there. So that's what I'm going with here with our persistent pandemic. And very appreciative to pull it back here to CUR. We have on-site and online options, and folks can choose what best fits their situation to keep them and their loved ones safe.
No, that is, yes. All of the above. Yes, yes, yes. Stay positive. I love your outlook on life. If it seems like it's going wrong, there's good to come out of it in some way or shape or form or everything. So that's great. And then just to add to that, we are also having a call. It's an ongoing call for CUR Conversations for anybody who does have a little bit of time on their hands which I doubt that a lot of you do, but I know that you guys are all learning so well, or learning so much in these past couple of months, that if you do want to share it with the community, we are more than happy to help put together a CUR conversations for you to facilitate. Those are small conversations or a focus group. No presentations are needed. It's just basically you come together and you share your thoughts or opinions, or you ask a question to who you think would need to know these or might have that answer. So you can connect with Austin Gage at AGAGE at CUR.org, which is A Gage. This has been great. I think this is basically one of my favorite times because I get to connect with you, Jeanne. You always make me laugh. And we get to continue to keep transparency and strong communication between you and the community and the national office, of course. Each quarterly, we'll have an interview on specific hot topics for the CUR President. You can submit questions to be reviewed by emailing emorris@cur.org. That's me, and my last name is spelled with one R. Don't ask me, it was because of my husband. And possibly ask for those questions can be put into our following quarterly. Deadlines for those questions are outlined on our volunteer page for everybody who is interested. And then our next upcoming quarterly will be April 7th, 2022, which is just in a few more months, which is crazy.
Yep, coming quick. Right?
I know. Any final thoughts or words you want to say?
Well, as I share every time I have an opportunity to talk about CUR, I am so appreciative for this community, what our volunteers bring, how hard our national office works to support the programming and all the wonderful ideas and initiatives that folks bring forward. It is such a pleasure to work with all of you and support the mission. And I am just positive no matter what, and grateful. Even amidst all the challenges, there's a lot to be grateful for, and CUR is a big part of that.
That's awesome. I forgot to ask you one last thing. Again, I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'll share mine first. I'm all about New Year's resolutions. Many are not. You know, I always had the New Year's resolution of like, I'm going to work out or I'm going to do this. But this year I actually said I'm going to be more present. I thought maybe, you know, just being more into life than I thought it would be. You know, putting down those electronics and getting away from behind the camera and just enjoying Earth as it is and with my kids and my family. So that was my New Year's resolution. Do you have one?
Great question. And how about that? Put me on the spot with a New Year's resolution.
It really is putting you on the spot.
Oh, happy to help. I have moved away from New Year's resolutions because I just never keep them, right? I'm like, oh, energized, I'm going to do whatever. And so forth. So I've kind of moved to, it feels like the space that you're in, you know. I went to like a word, right? So if there is like a touchstone term that I want to help guide me in the year to come, and I did it last year, and this year I'm choosing the word embrace. And it encompasses, I think, part of what you're talking about, right? How do I embrace the moment that I'm in and be present? How do I embrace the challenges that have been put at my table, right? How do I embrace, I don't know, the wave number 4, 8, 16, whatever we're at of COVID, you know? I don't know, kind of like taking a minute, thinking about it, and embracing. So kind of a New Year's resolution, kind of a guiding term that is pretty broad that I can put lots in that bucket.
I like it. I like the one word idea. Maybe I might adapt that. But we'll check in throughout the year to see if we're actually sticking to this one word or my resolution. And I think that's it for everything today. For the community, thank you so much for tuning in. We have so much fun putting this together, and we hope that you guys get a lot out of it. And we also hope that if you did put any New Year's resolutions together, that we will be checking in on you as well. Bye, and have a great rest of your January.
Bye. Thank you. You as well.